thing we have in common probably is our bald heads at this point. But he smokes, I don't. He drinks, I don't. So we got along well because we never got in each other's way. So from that category, but speaking to me personally, from a man to a point, he will probably be, if not probably, definitely is the most influential coaching figure, father figure, speak that I've ever had in my life in this league. So as long as I shall live or continue to be in this league. And I just want to thank him personally before I go on, just face to face, so the whole world knows what he's meant to me, what he means to our coaching staff, what he means as a family man, what he means as just hearing advice from us, taking advice from us, cracking a whip, understanding who's in the building, being comfortable in his skin, making everyone else feel comfortable in their skin, and allowing us to coach football. You don't get that everywhere, okay? You don't get that everywhere. He teaches, he takes advice, he understands, and that's what you need to be a good leader.
All right, let's talk now with Jonathan Jones, senior NFL reporter for CBS Sports. Good to have you, man. And in my preparation for your appearance today, I got to say I was pleased to see how on one accord you and I were. Like, you and I, Jonathan, have decided to set aside cynicism, and not join in the conspiracy theory and just appreciate the beauty of Bruce Arians acting, not just talking it, but walking it when it comes to being both an ally and an accomplice. And once again, showing the rest of these coaches, because John, I've been saying for a while, as much as we focus on what owners won't do when it comes to hiring black coaches historically in the NFL, more of the focus needs to be on head coaches and how infrequently they hire black coaches as coordinators, specifically offensive coordinators, therefore causing a clog in the proverbial pipeline when it comes to head coach hires. Here's Bruce Arians, who has always walked it like he talks it when it comes to diversity and inclusion, not just along racial lines, but gender lines as well. And here he is giving a black coach an opportunity, a rare second chance, but an even rarer opportunity to inherit a good team. And I read your column on CBS, which said what I'm saying, except smarter. So the floor is yours.
No, and I appreciate that. And yeah, we could get and dig into, did Tom Brady force the hand and whatnot? Listen, I mean, is it possible? Of course, that under the sun is possible. We're going to find that out anytime soon as it relates to Tom Brady's true wants and wishes and what really happened behind the scenes. No, we're probably not going to figure that out. For me, the simplest explanation, the easiest explanation is probably the one, right? It's just classic Occam's razor. And so for me, this is Bruce Arians, who has long been a proponent of diversity, who has long known the struggle, has been about it, as evidenced by so many of his moves since he became a head coach, and even before that he saw an opportunity to promote an extremely well-qualified coordinator, a guy who, as you know, it's very difficult for black men to get a second chance in the NFL. I believe it's only happened 7, now 8 times in the league with 2 different franchises. And normally it happens with teams that are bad, right? That's when the coaching vacancies happen. So the fact that Todd Bowles can take over the reins in a comfortable and familiar situation with the greatest quarterback of all time in a job that he has earned without question. We could talk about Bruce Arians and him doing a solid, but also it's not like he did too much of a favor. Like Todd Bowles is ready to take on a new head coaching job. He gets that opportunity here, and it's well deserved.
I agree with you guys. I think you both are absolutely spot on. Bruce Arians is an ally. He's done great work. But I want to know, do you think Tom Brady come on, man. I sure want to know. You think Tom Brady pushed him out? Come on, that's the story. Because Jonathan, look, Super Bowl coach Bruce Arians is faced with the retirement of the greatest quarterback of all time. He's looking forward to coaching, he said it, Blaine Gabbert and Kyle Trask. Then
I'm sorry, you want to laugh. You should have laughed. I'm looking forward to coaching Blaine Gabbert, but continue.
He said it. That's what he said. He said, I want to show people how good he is. I want to show people how good Blaine Gabbert is. Then Tom Brady unretires. Super Bowl coach Bruce Arians says, nah, I'm going to let Todd have this one.
Listen, it is really it's set up well for conspiracy theories, right? I do understand it, and he goes out overseas, and he's with the Glazer family, and they're having conversations, and he's chatting with Ronaldo on the field, and everything's sort of building toward that moment, and then it happens a couple of Sunday nights ago on Selection Sunday, and also the KG retirement ceremony. I was actually at the Garden, had to run back home for that when I saw that tweet come through, but no, I understand it. I don't know that the NFL, which leaks like a sieve when it comes to information, Tom Brady, I don't know that he's like edging a 69, about to be 70-year-old man out of his job because there's a little bit of friction. Of course there's friction. And it's not like Bruce Arians is necessarily going anywhere. He's still in the building, still getting paid by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I don't know. I don't really buy it. I'm sorry. I wish I could play in the game. I just don't buy it.
Yeah.
I like it. I respect it.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mike.
No, I was going to say I respect it.
Look, Jonathan, if nothing else, like I told Michael yesterday, after this week, I just need to feel good. You know what I mean? Like it's been a rough week. I need to believe that there's good in the world.
But I do want to ask you this. I want to ask you both this. I want you both to answer because I know, Mike, you've been very high on the Buccaneers, and I know you think the Rams are the best team. You're going to pick them to win it again, but the Buccaneers are up there for you. Does this move, even though it's great for Todd Bowles, does this make Tampa a little more questionable when it comes to their Super Bowl credentials? Because they do have, it's not a rookie head coach, but they got a different head coach, a different guy in the mix whose career record is under 500. I know, but does it move Tampa down a notch, or does it keep them in the same?
That's a very fair question. Jonathan, you go first.
I don't, it doesn't change it at all for me. Like if the difference between Bruce Arians and Todd Bowles is maybe a half of a game win, right? Like, if you had them at 11.5 wins, maybe you knocked them down to 11. And so whatever the odds shake out there, this is still going to come down to January football, right? We still have Tampa winning the NFC South, which is hitting a hard reset this upcoming season. So they're going to be a division champion. Depending on how tiebreakers work out and shake out in the NFC, a much easier conference. They're going to be the 1 or the 2 seed. And then it's just a matter of what do you do in January? Do you trust Tom Brady in those moments to be the better guy, to have the football in his hands last and win the football game? And does Todd Bowles make some gigantic error during a playoff game? That's really the only difference here. Because
clock management type thing.
Right. You already have this team in the playoffs. Now the point of that is Todd Bowles going to screw it up? And I don't think there's any evidence that says that he would right now.
Michael, to answer your question, much like, NBA MVP or best player in the world, like if you're looking for like ways to split ties, yeah, that's why I say it's a fair question because, look, with all due respect to Todd Bowles and his qualifications, he is a downgrade at the head coach spot. I mean, no different than in Denver. One of the reasons why people may be hesitant, and I know I am, to say that Denver is favored over, Kansas City, or even though Josh McDaniels, failed previously as a head coach in Denver, but over Kansas City or Las Vegas or even the Chargers is unproven Nathaniel Hackett. So by that same logic, it's a downgrade from Bruce Arians, 2-time Coach of the Year Bruce Arians, to Todd Bowles at the head spot. I guess if it wasn't such a representation of continuity, both culturally and schematically, so the defense stays intact. Offensively, as Bruce Arians has said, as screamed from the mountaintops, it is Byron Leftwich's show, and by extension, Tom Brady. I think Jonathan hit it on the head. It's really going to come down to leadership, clock management, and I think from a leadership standpoint, I trust Todd Bowles to keep this ship, headed in the right direction and keep the crew on the same page when times get tough. But I would like to stay with this theme, though. And we talked about the Rams a second ago. Just adding Bobby Wagner. Sports Illustrated put out some offseason power rankings, which was great fodder, Jonathan. They got the Rams up top. They got the Bengals at number 2. I mean, we talked about the Bucs. I think we all agreed that the Rams, by virtue of being the defending NFL champions and coming back, adding Allen Robinson and now Bobby Wagner and keeping the band together for the most part, with apologies to Von Miller, deserved to be number 1. So let's just focus in on the AFC. Based on paper, based on the offseason they've had, Who's your AFC favorite as we sit here on April 1st?
I'm going to go with the Kansas City Chiefs. And I know that may not necessarily be a popular pick, but they're the team that has absolutely dominated the AFC West. When you look at their offseason, obviously losing Tyreek Hill, they're not a better football team without Tyreek Hill on the football field. That much is clear. However, I'm going to give them a second to see what they do at that position. I also trust they have the best quarterback in the entire AFC. In Patrick Mahomes. He's still the best young quarterback to ever do it. And now you have, listen, the AFC West is catching up. When you look at the Chiefs' record, it was something like, 21-5 or something over the last couple of years in the AFC West. So, yeah, I would expect Denver and I would expect the Raiders to step up because they had been so far behind. And I think every empirical measurement shows how far behind they were. Okay, now you're starting to catch up. The Chargers are going to be there. And we talk about coaching decisions. Are those fourth down calls going to come back and bite the Chargers a little bit? What is Brandon Staley going to be like in this next act of his career with the Chargers? So I look at this and I say the King's still the king, right? Like Kansas City still got the football first against the Cincinnati Bengals. And I think the Bengals last year, while they're going to be a playoff team this upcoming season, they won in spite of that offensive line. The offensive line has gotten better, but you need a little fortune on your side. I would not have the Bengals at number 2 right now.
Well, Michael's got the Bills. Just so you know, just like so we're all aware. Like the Bills are his AFC favorite. Just to welcome you into this running joke here. Bengals are my squad. He hates all things Buffalo. Michael Holler don't even like Buffalo wings. And so, so you just wanted to, we're pushing him. We're making him jump on the Bills bandwagon this offseason.
But I'm curious.
You look like a Bills Mafia guy, Michael Holly.
Oh
Looks
yeah,
like he's jumped through a
I'm a
table
Bills
or two.
Mafia guy the wrong way. They have me in effigy or something. I'm a target of the Bills Mafia, but I'm not Bills.
Oh, they put out a hit on.
Mafia
They put out a hit on you.
They might. I'm so interested in your Kansas City pick. All the things you said are true. Patrick Mahomes, lots of wins, AFC West. But the Tyreek Hill move, Miami gave up, was it 5 or 6 draft picks for Tyreek Hill? So they look at him
it was 5.
Is it 5? They look at him as a real difference maker. So did they get it wrong? And Kansas City is so blessed that they can afford to take 5 draft picks, just draft picks for a guy who was a real game changer and still get back to where they've always been? I'm surprised you didn't really factor in the Tyreek Hill loss in terms of the bottom line for Kansas City.
Right. And so, yeah, they are not a better football team in 2022 without Tyreek Hill. However, if you needed to pay Tyreek Hill like Tyreek Hill ultimately got paid from Miami Dolphins, and you're looking at that and you're saying, okay, are his best days going to be behind him at the time in which we have all that guaranteed money tied up in him? And when that cap percentage is going to go up in terms of what we have distributed to him, versus the sort of draft capital that we can get in, 5 picks, we'll hit on 3 of them and we'll be better off in 2023, 2024. That's the determination that the Kansas City Chiefs made. And frankly, I understand why they did it. It would have been difficult, but I probably would have done the same thing. Now, are they prepared to fill that gap? No, there is only one Tyreek Hill in today's NFL, but they still have Travis Kelce there at tight end. They signed Juju, guy that they've been interested in for a little bit on a very high upside contract, 1-year deal. They have the draft coming up. This is a team with Brett Veach at general manager, with Andy Reid there at head coach, that has proven over the past couple of years that they can figure it out. Now, past success doesn't lead to future success. We all know that. But I like their track record in being able to figure it out. The ebbs and flows of the defense and whatnot. The fact is that after the trade deadline, when they got Melvin Ingram, this defense was one of the best in the NFL. They tapered off a little bit at the end of the season. Everything that I'm seeing with this team, and of course with Patrick Mahomes, I just don't want to bet against them. You bet on the Bills, okay, good for you, and I appreciate that, and I respect it, and you may very well be right, but when they faced one another, it was Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs that came out of that AFC divisional round.
So going back to that, those power rankings, those offseason power rankings from Sports Illustrated, what jumped out to me, and maybe I'm getting too caught up in the transaction. Maybe I'm getting too caught up in this, and what an amazing month we just came out of, a couple of weeks really we just came out of, with maybe the most exciting offseason in recent NFL memory when it comes to player movement. I was a little surprised. I know everybody can't make the top 10, but Colts at 14, who clearly upgraded at quarterback. I don't think there's any question about that. Browns at 17, ditto. And I'm not going to factor in what we believe to be an inevitable suspension because we don't know how long Deshaun Watson's civil litigation is gonna take. So and let alone the NFL's investigation. So I'm gonna assume that Deshaun Watson plays week 1. That's just how I approach it. But again, another clear upgrade. So Sports Illustrated had Colts at 14, Browns at 17, Raiders at 18, and the Dolphins at 20. And I guess I just look at what all those teams did this offseason. I know, it's just paper. We haven't seen it yet. But those teams feel like...
Where are the Jaguars?
Yeah, anyway, those teams feel like they're a little underrated. So of those 4 teams, Colts, Browns, Raiders, Dolphins, who would you say is the most underrated among those 4?
So I don't like the Niners at 7 with unproven Trey Lance. I don't love the 9-10 with Broncos and Ravens. I think with Broncos, we're putting a whole lot on Russell Wilson, and you're banking on Russell Wilson beating the Russell Wilson from before the finger injury than after. And I'm fine with you believing that, but I think there's just too much on the Broncos there at 9. The Cardinals at 12. You're talking about a team with Cliff Kingsbury that has tapered off every year that he has been a head coach in the NFL and even dating back to his time in college. So I think the team that we are most underestimating
Patriots at 13 even.
No,
Patriots at 13 feels high.
Yeah, it does. I'm going to go with the Browns, though, just because I do believe that we're going to have a Deshaun Watson suspension. I think it's going to be anywhere between 3 and 5 games. And so that means a 4 to 6 game suspension, then an appeal that is then brought down a game or 2. And so we're talking about a Jacoby Brissett leading the team for essentially the month of September, and then you gear up for October. Now it's about the schedule makers, and I've talked with league sources about this. Like, what's the schedule going to look like for the Cleveland Browns after that week 1 through 4? Are they just going to load up with difficult teams and just let everybody know, hey, you thought you were getting out of this one easy and smooth with that contract that you wrote for Deshaun? All those things said, I think the Browns are a little low. The Colts still, you guys know that under Chris Ballard's stewardship as general manager of this Colts team, they still have not won the AFC South, not once. So that they're at 14 is sort of okay, you got the quarterback, now show me. I'm still waiting for them to show me, so I'm going to wait on the Colts.
Okay. Hey, man, we appreciate you showing up and showing out. Thanks for the insight. Jonathan Jones, CBSSports.com. Yo, man, come kick it with us some more, because you know this is going to change. I mean, once draft trades started happening, people started drafting, we're going to shuffle these power rankings and do this all again soon when you come back, all right?
Yeah, I can't wait to do it in the middle of June. Let's do it then.
Yeah, mock draft season too.
Good.
We didn't even get to mock draft. Hey. I saw a mock draft today, had Malik Willis going to Detroit. I'm like, this is my time of year. I think it was Bleacher Report. Yeah, man, I'm telling you, it's crazy season.
Hey, thanks for watching Brother from Another on YouTube. Make sure you hit subscribe before you leave, and be sure to watch us 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern Time on Peacock. Appreciate you.